I wasn't in the closet to my mom or my stepdad, but that's an entirely different and terrifying story. I was technically in the closet when I came into college, and even some family members don't even know right now or are just finding out because of the video that I posted earlier, my It Gets Better video. I was in the closet because I wasn't fully able to accept myself, and I even lied to my mom in a way by telling her I was bi. And my perception of the gay community and what it meant to be gay relied on the poor examples I had seen growing up in my hometown, which was a Bible-belted and traditionally conservative area. Thought it was like that everywhere else, and I wanted to avoid being known as the gay guy because I thought people either wouldn't want to get to know me because of that, and I didn't want that to get in the way, and then straight guys wouldn't want to be my friend. It was a really, really difficult process for me. I mean, it took a period of a few months, but when it came to developing who I was and growing, which is really what I wanted to do, it was my goal. Before entering college, it's a whole another story because you don't know what to expect. And the process took a while for me to come out. It took really getting a different perception of what I had been so used to seeing growing up, and what in what ways gays have been portrayed through history, through the media, and through even the religious perceptions that had been, you know, presented to me from an early age. The hate speech that came from the people that I had grown up in high school, from a public school to a private school, yeah. There was homophobic slurs that were thrown back and forth among even friends or just different people. It was the one way that you knew that you could hurt somebody a lot. If you would call somebody, you know, a fag, or say that somebody's gay, it was a terrifying thing. So I know what that's like. When you get to college, it's a whole other world, and that may depend on where you attend though. That can make things much more difficult for you depending on where you go to school and what principles your school stands on, and whether you go to like a religious school or if you go to a school that's mostly conservative. But for the most part, it is a whole nother world, and it's a whole nother experience. People are coming from all over the world, or people are attending there that have every single background you can think of. You're gonna meet people that have different beliefs. That's the most beautiful thing about going to college and meeting other people and the exchange of ideas, and now having social media. It's like a whole another world. It's like being on Tumblr and having all these people that accept you and understand who you are and don't care how you want to live your life. And that's been the most awesome experience that you can have in leaving your hometown if your home conditions are really difficult. So as far as coming out, there were certain things that had really helped me to realize that this was something that was really necessary for me to do. I went through different moments where I had to learn that some things are just not acceptable, or you know, what are the disadvantages of being in the closet. Hooking up while in the closet, I did it. Not be in a healthy place of knowing who I was and taking the time to go and date other guys and be in a much safer atmosphere. What was difficult for me to understand was you can really hurt somebody by being in the closet, and this person may not be, and you decide to hook up with them, and this person may like you, or they may have had other intentions by deciding to do things with you, or, you know, they could have been in the closet too and they were alright with it, but a lot of it makes it a situation that is so much more stressful, and in the process, yeah, you can hurt somebody, you can really damage somebody. When you're coming into college, there are a lot of people that are in the process of coming out too. There are so many people like yourself that are really trying to find themselves, and being in that kind of situation, yes, it's a learning experience, but then also realize that this is somebody else that you will later find out that you don't want to encounter somebody that is going to treat you that way, because I realized that I had hurt some people by hooking up with them and then like completely cutting them out of my life. I used people, and in the process I really had to apologize eventually if I ever wanted any sort of friendship with this person, or if I really wanted to help that person through any sort of healing. In a way, just having that negative situation that could have started a lot of other situations and issues in that person's process of coming out that you wouldn't want for yourself. Joining a fraternity was a really difficult thing for me. Even if you're gay or straight, you really don't know who you are fully. You're still like developing an identity, and you're in a whole other environment, and you have a social life which you are surrounded by people constantly. Like, your parents aren't over you, and you have this space that cannot be infringed on, no rights taken away. And joining a fraternity, it really was a really bad idea for me, because I thought that maybe in that process of joining a fraternity that maybe, sure, let me surround myself with, you know, really confident guys that can help me be more confident, that special male bonding, and you can really mess things up. Like, you can mess yourself up emotionally and even by joining a fraternity, and some people can get through it. For me, I mean, I felt like they break you down a little bit through, you know, not so much as emotional hazing, but it's not to the same extreme as like the military or anything like that, but it's still challenges are put in your way to make sure that you guys are one, and that when a situation arrives, you guys will work together, and it would increase the bond between you guys. In that process, I felt like I became even more insecure, and being expected to talk to girls in a way that required, you know, making them like you, and hell, if they thought you were gay, I mean, that's a terrifying thing. I didn't want that to be an issue for me, so I kept that to myself and suppressed who I was. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with joining a fraternity, because it's not for everybody. I really do suggest waiting a semester at least to figure that out. Well, now that situation is actually a pretty funny story. I had downloaded Grindr. After a week of messing around with it, a friend who was in the fraternity, or pledging the fraternity with me, and he lived in one of the freshman dorms that I had always hung out there a lot, and there was somebody who lived on his floor named Brandon, and Brandon was just gay. He was open about it, and he told people, and he just didn't really care. That seemed like a threat to me. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stay away from this guy, whatever gaydar he has going on. One day I was walking with my pledge brother, Greg, and we were on our way to get on the elevator, and Brandon, of course, was going on the same floor. Brandon was standing off to the side, and it didn't even cross my mind. I had been on Grindr, and I didn't think anybody else knew what it was. So I'm standing there, and I'm just, you know, playing with it. And all of a sudden, I have someone say, "Oh my God, do you have Grindr?" Shut the fuck up, nobody else knows. From what I hear now, Brandon told me that he thought I was about to beat him. I thought it was almost to the point of outing me. I was so scared. I'm like, nobody knows, nobody knows. From that day on, we became friends, and he had encouraged me to come out. A moment in that time where some older friends who had already been graduated, or, you know, they started their career, and these were people that changed everything. I thought what I knew of what it meant to be gay, or what people who were gay were like, was something completely different. I was just presented with something that was so good for me, that the reason why I am the way I am now is because of meeting people like this. And these weren't people that I always got the chance to hang out with, but it was just like the prime example of something that really taught me that being gay it's not what defines me, and people were really not going to care. So what I did, I came out.